Hello, my name is Apollo and welcome to Pantheon Talks. Today we are doing another first impressions. In this video, I'll give my initial thoughts on a Webtoon original series, the good, the bad, and the ugly. For this video, I've chosen the original Webtoon series, Jungle Juice. Alright, let's dive in. Usually, when I start these videos, I often like to tell you guys right off the bat how I feel about the story. However, for this one, y'all are going to have to wait until the end of the video for my verdict. That being said, I think it's a perfect way to start the discussion of this series by looking at the description on Webtoons. Soo-chan Jang is an extraordinary college student at the top of the social food chain, but underneath the perfect facade, he hides a pair of insect wings that suddenly grew when he used a mysterious bug spray called Jungle Juice. Soo-chan's life crumbles when he bares his wings to the world to save someone's life. When all hope seems lost, Soo-chan stumbles upon a hidden world of insect humans, where everyone is accepted for what they are. But the law of the jungle governs this secret society, and all must fend for themselves in order to survive. The series has a very interesting premise. I think the thing that intrigues me the most is the world building and the fantastical elements that are brought into this world. I strongly believe that if insects were just an inch bigger, they would be our supreme overlords dominating mankind. And to be honest, that's really what makes this webtoon terrifying. If this story was brought into the real world, no one would survive. We'd all be dead. Not only are the insects 1,000,000 times larger, but they are combined with what seems to be the worst traits from both humans and insects, which introduces a complexity and a uniqueness that I think in of itself is rather intriguing. It makes us wonder, is this character naturally evil, or does it have something to do with the instincts of their insect DNA? Not only that, things that we take for granted every day that might seem harmless to us, like for example, a spider web or maybe an ant bite, in this world, it's so much more dangerous. The story does a fantastic job of introducing unique characteristics of certain insects that seem to border on the line of fantastical. However, in reality, these abilities are very much real. For example, things like how compound eyes actually work, the movement of a dragonfly, and what definitely seems like something out of a fantasy or a sci-fi book, the bombardier beetle. Now let me elaborate on this last one. This beetle has the ability to create a chemical reaction in its body. According to the Webtoon and NWF.org, or the National Wildlife Federation, this beetle has the remarkable ability to shoot a boiling, cohesive substance at its predators. An important feature of these beetles is the presence of two chambers within their abdomen that keep the critical reactants apart until they are ready to be discharged. When the beetle feels threatened, the contents of these two chambers are combined and fired through an abdominal tip. The abdominal tip through which their defensive chemical is sprayed can be rotated 270 degrees so they can easily fire at predators. I can only imagine the amount of research that the author Hyeong puts into this series. It really shows the amount of care and how amazing our actual world is. Now, I didn't research every insect, so I can't say for a certainty that every single insect that is portrayed in Jungle Juice that I read is 100% accurate. But I do think at least a minimal amount of research goes into this series so that even if an insect's ability is elevated into that fantastical realm, it's likely based on something other than just the creator's imagination. And as someone who loves learning about nature, I really think this aspect is extremely cool. And since this is an action series, we get to see some of the most unique and unpredictable abilities in a dynamic, action-packed way. Never did I think I would find myself rooting for a character based off of a roach to win a fight, but here we are, and let me just say she's best girl. So what an awesome mechanic to base your world and magic system on. Now jumping to our next point, the characters. I gotta say, I think the characters are all relatively interesting. However, I 100% do not vibe with the MC. Now, as we read the description, Shu-chan is extremely popular. However, one of the biggest things that hinders him in life is his own insecurity. So that may be a little bit confusing to some of you, but let me explain. I understand that often it's us that take the biggest issues within ourselves. Maybe you think to yourself, my nose is too big, my teeth aren't straight, I'm too skinny, etc., whatever that insecurity might be. So I think the writing here is pretty powerful and realistic. However, that's the issue. It's rather superficial for Shu-chan because he seems to get over it rather quickly. So the writer gives him a backstory and explains why he has these thoughts and realistically explains his motivations. However, I really felt that he just easily washed over these insecurities once we got into the main plot. And to be honest, when we look more deeply into Shu-chan as a character, he has his walls up to everyone. Even the girl he has a crush on in the first few episodes, the author literally draws them with a wall between them. Now, this may be on purpose, but I can't say. I think it definitely was thought through because the creator obviously has an extreme attention to detail. Which, to be honest, I don't know why, but Mirai really gives me a feeling that there is more to her than what meets the eye. Maybe she was just a one-off character, but in one scene in particular, it's almost like she's hinting that she knows more than she's letting on, and her reaction to the truth, considering the circumstances, seems extremely strange to me. I mean, come on, girl, you didn't even give the boy a thank you. Like, listen, you would be dead right now if it wasn't for him. So basically, I'm over here waiting on a plot twist, possibly from a character that may not even be important. I mean, I'm 20 episodes in and she ain't appeared again. But I'm getting off track, so I digress. Back to Shu-chan. Listen, how can you expect anyone to truly accept you when you can never show that person your true self? And I think that might be the point. Once our main character enters into the insect world, it's almost like he's entered into what could basically be called a safe haven. He's free from the burden of pretending, and he can let down his facade and form real connections as himself. He's learning who he really is without the weight of being the perfect, crafted ideal that he wants to portray of himself. And the rest of the main cast, I think, helps to balance out our MC's flaws and elevates his strength. Clearly, friendship and self-acceptance are going to be powerful themes throughout the story. Next, let's take a moment to just say, if you're like me and you clicked on the series because you thought the art looked amazing, well, you won't be disappointed. Juder, the artist, does an amazing job literally at everything. The panels are stunning, like 10 out of 10, would score higher if I could. With this being an action series, and a lot of other webtoons I've read, the series often can sometimes come across as stiff throughout the fights eventually, and even to the point of being a little confusing. However, with this series, it's almost like watching a movie. Sometimes as I was reading the story, it was so fluid, I felt like I was watching it. All of the battles are so dynamic and unique, and despite the MC being limited with his abilities in the beginning, I'm sure he'll improve and develop more. The artist does a fantastic job of even making the simplest movements engaging and fun to read. All of the characters are designed amazingly. Even random background side characters, I find myself sitting there for a minute just to look over the panel so that I can see how well these characters are designed. The artist didn't hold back on anything. We are completely immersed into the world of Jungle Juice, and as an artist myself, I'm awed and definitely jealous. I think some of what the artist probably calls their throwaway panels are better than most of my illustrations. This is truly a masterclass in creating a unique world only through the artwork. Juder is a master at their craft, and I'm so grateful to be able to admire such an amazingly drawn series. So what's my verdict? Well, I'm actually rather indifferent to this series. Despite it having so many things done right, the series is developed so well, in my opinion. I find a lack of connection to the story. And as I elaborated through the video, I think it all stems with the MC. He just doesn't resonate with me. Shu-chan is the biggest issue, and I'm just not interested in his journey. However, I think I will continue to read the series. Things may happen to pull me deeper into the story. Again, I'm only about 20 episodes in at this time of recording this video. However, I do think certain aspects like the villain storyline could grow on me, and I'm definitely coming back to study more of the fantastic art. So if you're interested in this series, there is a link in the description. Please check out Jungle Juice on Webtoons and be sure to support the creators. Hyeong Eun and JUDER on all of their social media and their webtoon. Also, if you have read Jungle Juice, then tell us, what are your thoughts on this webtoon? And if you have any webtoons you'd like to hear our thoughts on, then please tell us which ones in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, leave us a like, a comment, and most definitely ring the bell. We'd like to give a huge thank you and shout out to all of our patrons. If you would like to support us while getting some extra content we don't post on Instagram or YouTube, then head on over to our Patreon. All right, I'll catch you in the next video. Forgot how to say it, so let me look it up. Do not include this in the video.